Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm showing you exactly how I interpret customer feedback data. Now if you're new here, my name is Satia and I am a customer experience analyst with a background in banking and service delivery. And one of the biggest lessons I've learned over the years is this: that data tells you what's happening, but curiosity tells you why. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down how I approach CX data analysis. I'm going to be giving you the key insights from this hotel dashboard, and I'm going to be showing you how business owners can use these insights to improve customer satisfaction and retention. Also, if you're an analyst watching, this is the business side of analytics that we don't talk about enough, because unlike most dashboard walkthrough that shows you how to build visuals, this video is different. I'll be walking you through the business story, the insights, the decisions, and the recommendations that can actually help a business grow. Let's get right into it. Now, before I start, I would like to say this. Before you get into analyzing any data, the first thing you want to know is, who am I building this dashboard for? There are two parts of these questions. It's not just if the stakeholders are technical or non-technical. It's not just that. It's also who they are. For instance, this is a hotel. It's going to guide the insights I'm going to derive, and of course the kind of recommendations I'll give. Otherwise, you're going to be giving textbook recommendations as opposed to recommendations that are tailored to the client and that can actually help the business grow. All right. This is the dashboard for this business. Like I said, it's a hotel called Skyline Towers, and it shows the overall rating, which is currently sitting at 3.6 over 5 stars. Then the NPS score, the NPS category. This is showing the number of promoters, passives versus detractors that we have. Then we have the purpose of visits, the gender spread, the average rating by service areas, and then there are also slicers here. These are also sources of information and the source trend. So far, looking at this dashboard, I already have an idea of what is happening. But of course, as an analyst, my next question is always why? Let's start with the overall rating. Now, currently, as we can see, this hotel has an overall rating of 3.6 stars out of 5.0. Now, as a CX analyst, this tells me something important. It's not terrible, but it's not excellent either. You see, this is the kind of score where a business can easily slip downward if nothing changes. For founders and hotel managers, let me just say this, that when your business sits in the middle like this, it is usually because one or two areas are performing well, maybe even excellently well, but a critical touch point is seriously underperforming, and that's dragging the whole of the customer experience down. Now, fortunately, this dashboard actually reveals exactly where these imbalances are, but we'll get right into that. We'll first have to look at the net promoter score. Now, the NPS score currently sits as 22. And from what you can see here, our target NPS score is 50%. We're not even up to our target. We're not even up to half our target. And normally, this score is not exactly bad, but it's just decent. It's just there. Now, for anyone new to NPS, you're hearing the word NPS for the first time, let me quickly go down to the category and tell you about promoters. Promoters are your loyal customers. These are the people that will come to Skyline Hotels, and then you ask them, how was your experience? And they'll say, oh my God, it was fabulous. I really loved my stay there. They're excellent. The service was wonderful. They will even go a step further and tell you the food, the music, what they liked, and all of that. Then the passives are those ones that you ask and they'll be like, it was just there. As a business, we do not need people who say it was just there. What is meh? It was just there. But these are what the passives we say. And then the detractors are those ones who will give you like 2 stars or even 1 star. And when anybody asks them about their experience in the hotel, they are going to say it was terrible. This was bad. That was bad. I didn't enjoy my stay there. I will never go back there again. should be looking out for detractors and taking whatever it is they say seriously. Now back to the NPS score. A 20% NPS is average. It means that the business is doing some things right. As you can see from this category, the promoters are actually the highest here. But there are still too many customers who are not confident enough to recommend the hotel. Again, we can see that because these passives and detractors, if you add them up, is actually higher than the promoters. So we have more people who are not loyal to us. We have more people who will not say glowing things about us. And that is a big, big problem. Let me also say that your net promoter score is one of the strongest revenue indicators. See, if the score goes up, our revenue will also go up. Now let's look at another thing, the purpose of visit. Looking at this donut chart, we can see that there are 4 main reasons why people visit our hotel. And currently, we have more business visitors than any other. Business visitors stand at a whopping 42.5%. And then we have vacationers coming second at 35.5%, people coming on functions, and then people visiting for other reasons. Now, this is the insight I'm getting, that our business or our hotel, contrary to whatever we think, we may or may not already know this, but this strictly tells us that our hotel, Skyline Towers, is majorly a business hotel. Now, why is it important to know this? It's going to guide the kind of marketing campaigns that we can put out and the product offers that we can come up with. Because, for instance, we can now start directing our marketing campaigns, towards corporate packages. Another thing that we can do is optimizing our Wi-Fi, something as simple as Wi-Fi. I'm sure all of us have experience in hotels with terrible Wi-Fi. You see, Skyline Towers that actually has a very strong business customer base, they cannot afford to have bad Wi-Fi. They cannot afford to have very slow service speed. Never. They cannot afford to not have meeting amenities, things like business lounges, quiet places where business people can have their meetings. Because you don't expect a business person to leave the comfort of their homes or to leave their locations and come to Skyline and the Wi-Fi is bad, the service delivery is very, very slow, or even the internet speed is very slow, or they don't have quiet areas where they can conduct their meetings and sit and still run their businesses from their location. That's something we cannot afford to have. Then another thing is that, we can also create loyalty packages for, our frequent business travelers. Do you see how the insights derived from data is shaping our products, is shaping our offerings, is shaping our marketing campaigns? And this is where analysts shine, where connect customer intent to business strategy. Now let's quickly look at the gender distribution. And this is another quick insight, that we have more males than females. Now, this is very good because it matters if we want to create targeted campaigns. Now that we know that we have more males than females, that thing I said earlier about understanding your clients, this is where we want to really understand what our client is going after. There are businesses who want more males than females for whatever reason best known to them. So knowing this now, we can say, since we have less females, maybe we can attract more females by, putting out targeted campaigns for services like spas, events, family packages, And another thing that knowing our gender spread does for us is it understands review biases, because like it or not, men and women rate experiences differently. Now, if I wanted to take this a step further, remember that this is strictly analyzing, this dashboard is strictly analyzing customer feedback. We're not looking at other kinds of numbers like spend. But knowing this customer feedback dashboard now, when we do analysis for sales and revenue and stuff like that, another thing we would love to see is we'll connect gender to spend. And maybe we'll also have, a chart there showing how each of these gender spend money in our hotel. Because guess what? It will make no sense to have a strong male customer base if the females are actually spending more. So what we want to do is two things. We either want to flip this, turn this around and say, no, we have to put up more offers that actually attract females so that we get more of the higher spending gender in our hotel. Or we could also say, when we look at that kind of numbers, we could say, so why are the males not spending more despite, being our higher customer base? Then we can start putting out more targeted offerings. We can then start looking at what are the things that the men do when they come to our hotel and how can we make it better so that they can spend more. Again, do you see how data can help you make more sensible decisions and put out better products for your customers? Now let's look at the average rating by service area. And let me spotlight this. Now, for average rating by service area, this is my favorite part because a lot of our story comes alive here. We're comparing our customer ratings for facility, restaurant, room, and staff. Now look at this. Our staff is the highest or the strongest performing area, followed by room. Room is decent. Then the facilities, 3.11. Improvement is needed. But as you can see, the biggest problem right now is our restaurants. And this is terrible because no matter the intent of our customers, they would want to eat. And if they are rating our restaurants less than 2.5 stars, that's a big, big problem. And this tells me immediately that the restaurant is dragging down the entire customer experience. And for business owners, this is where feedback becomes money. Because a weak restaurant affects repeat visits. This also tells us that a lot of our detractors are citing restaurants as their biggest headache. And then if our reputation on our restaurant is very low, it's going to affect bookings. Because why will anybody spend their time coming to Skyline Towers, for instance, for 3 days when they know that they are going to get shitty food or terrible ambience, depending on what the reviews on the restaurants are saying? If I were consulting for them now, this is what I would do. We'll have to run an immediate restaurant diagnostic and start looking for quick wins. For instance, what is the biggest headache in our restaurant? Is it that the food arrives too late? Is it that there are not enough staff in the restaurant? Is it the ambience, poor lighting, or what? You will now have to start doing a deep dive on these restaurants. You can also another thing you can do is weekly tasting sessions. If our food is bad, we would deliberately go out of our way to, let's say, employ more chefs and then put out weekly tasting sessions where you throw it open to the customer base. You throw it open to the public and say, for this social period to this social period, come and try our new menu. And you run this for even 30 days. Now that's on the food part. Is it the ambience? What can you do? These days, when it comes to design, we talk a lot about Instagrammable restaurants and Instagrammable places. Maybe one of the problems with our restaurant is that it's not aesthetically pleasing. So we have to see 1 or 2 things that we can do that immediately would affect these things I just mentioned. Take note that I'm recommending things that we can have immediate results on. As an analyst, you must take notes to know that your recommendations should have quick wins in them. There are long-term plans, of course, but there should be things that they can implement now that we see an uptick. When you do your analysis, you must be on the lookout for quick wins. Quick wins, if you have this mentality of you want to recommend something that would have immediate impact in at least 2 weeks, 1 week, sometimes almost immediately, you must look out for them and add them in your recommendations. All right. So let's quickly look at source of information. This is also another one I find interesting. If you look at this, partner organizations are the highest, followed by hotel booking sites, then word of mouth. Word of mouth is not bad, but I know myself, if I have a good experience, I want to tell somebody about it, right? But then, of course, not everyone likes to talk, but I have a big problem with these two. Our partner organizations is clearly being utilized. For those who do not know what partner organizations mean, if you work in corporates, you might know that some organizations have partnerships with hotels, and these hotels offer discounts to their staff or anyone affiliated to the organization, and they give discount codes as a way to attract them to their hotels. This tells us that our partnerships are working, but something is off with our hotel booking sites. But it's not enough. You begin to look at the search engine, our internet advertisement. We're advertising on the internet, on television, on newspaper, and they are the lowest. What's up with this? Is where we want to call in marketing. What's up with our ads? What is our messaging? What can we do? For this hotel booking site, I'm going to be looking this difference here. Is it that people are not seeing our hotel sites, but definitely on social media? Is it that we don't have a clickable link on our social media platform? What's up with, do we need to call in an SEO expert to improve our visibility on the internet? These are not things that we would have known if we did not do this kind of analysis. So if I'm recommending, the hotel is relying on one strong but narrow acquisition channel, that's these organizations, then our marketing strategy needs diversification. And we should utilize SEO, booking platforms, and our word of mouth also needs more investment. For instance, I once went to a restaurant to eat and the food was very nice. And I was hyping them. I was hailing the waiters and everybody there. And one of the waiters was smart enough to say, you know what? Instead of them having a big head about the way I was praising their service, he encouraged me to put it on their Google My Business page. And because he was so nice about it and the service was so good, I put it on rated them very high on GMB and gave them a very, very strong review that anybody who ever clicks on that restaurant all over the world, they are going to see that review I gave. Based on that experience now, one of the recommendations I can give to this hotel now is, do they have a strong Google My Business platform? If they have a hotel website, do they have contents on that page? Because if I'm looking for how to choose the best hotel, and that hotel has a very high performing content on how to choose the right hotel for your vacation, definitely, I'm going to want to stay with them because they clearly know what they are doing. These are the kind of recommendations I'm going to be giving this hotel, that let's work on our content, let's work on our ad presence, let's change our messaging. Can we cut off newspaper ads since it's not converting, so as to save us money, and then we can pour in that money into another platform? Then I would also say, since our organization partnerships are doing so well, instead of just partnering with, let's say, corporate bodies or business owners, can we also partner with tourism boards, lifestyle brands, travel agencies, so that not just business people can be seeing it, vacationers can be seeing it. And if you look at our slicers, when you filter, just keep your eyes here on the source of information. Or when you filter by business, for instance, you can see that there's a sharp decline in others. Business visitors are strictly relying on organizations. They barely use other platforms. But when you come to see vacationers, you find that our vacationers are actively using our hotel booking site, and then organization drops. So that means instead of losing organization completely, we can then expand the partnerships that we have to include these bodies that I just mentioned. Again, see how data, just customer feedback data, can help in even your partnerships and your collaborations. Now, I do not want to go into everything. That's going to take too much of our time. Instead, I'll just run through some recommendations. Based on everything we have seen now, my top recommendations, just so they have to be this: fix the restaurant. Our lowest reviews are coming from the restaurant. We need to fix it. These are biggest CX risks. This is what is probably pissing off our detractors and maybe even the passives. We need to work on this pronto. Then we need to leverage staff strength. Since this is our strongest service area at this point, we need to turn it into a brand asset for marketing. Also, I will not forget the rooms. This 3.29 is decent, but it's not all there. And that's because at the end of the day, Skyline Towers is a hotel. And one of the major products of a hotel is its rooms. I fully expect that we should be getting at least 4 stars from our rooms, because rooms are not, to me, they are not difficult to handle. If I want to give another recommendation, I'll say let's look at what people are talking about our rooms. Is it the ambience? Again, you'll be surprised for rooms. If you look at a lot of hotel reviews, you'll find out that some of the complaints people have about rooms are very mundane. Some is as simple as water not running in the middle of the night. Let's say vacationers now, they come back from a party or their night wanderings and they come into the hotel by 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the middle of the night. They do not care that it's in the night and most people are asleep. Maybe the hotel has a practice of turning off the taps and everything in the middle of the night. You see, for a vacationer that is coming from another place, exploring the city, they expect the water to be running 24/7. They don't care that you're turning it off at night. If you do not have water running, they are going to be a detractor. They are going to be one of those people who will rate you 1 star. So what do? A quick win will be to keep the water running. It's that simple. So we'll not just focus on restaurants and stuff. If we really, really want quick wins, I think we'll combine these two, both restaurants and room, to increase our customers' experiences. Then, of course, create more business-focused loyalty packages. Since we already have lots of business visitors, we need to leverage that and create more tailored retention programs for them. Of course, this increasing our vacation base and all of that is not bad. But again, remember I said initially that you have to understand your clients and your clients' needs before you jump into any analysis. If I understand that my client is comfortable having a business-focused hotel, trust me, more of my recommendations will go into how to even strengthen this part of the chart. Do you see? Then, of course, our biggest goal right now will be to move from 3.6 to, let's say, the 4-star. Like I said, we'll focus our improvements on places that can give us quick wins, such that when we're carrying out another survey, our promoter scores can even be higher, so that our NPS can even climb up higher. These whole three are related. If we fix one thing here, trust me, it's going to affect the entire three. If you notice, these recommendations directly support higher retention, higher occupancy. We need our rooms more occupied, better reputation. We do not want our restaurants dragging us down, and of course, stronger revenue. And this is where analytics meets business value. So if you are a business leader, business owner, and you don't have a structured customer feedback analytics system like this, then I must tell you, you are leaving insights and money on the table. And for your information, I help businesses turn their customer data into actionable improvements, better customer experiences, loyalty growth, and of course, measurable revenue impact. So if you want something like this for your business, feel free to reach out to me via the form in my bio and in the description box. And to all my analysts watching, remember that we don't just report numbers, we translate them into decisions. Thank you so much for watching. I think I'm going to be doing more of this. I actually find it very interesting and it feels different from all the other walkthroughs that I consume, because this is something I actually struggled with for some time, in my learning journey. I'm more than happy to help every other analyst who might be struggling with making sense of their numbers. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.